Anjanae is honestly one of my best friends in the whole world. Aw. But it wasn't always like that. You know, like in the beginning,
oh my gosh,
we didn't really communicate. Like when we would be in the room together, I would put my headphones in and do my own thing, and she was always hanging out with someone else in Winship, and like there was a lot of just non-communication going on, and it wasn't a bad living situation. Like we weren't hostile or we weren't whatever. You know, like we could have very well been fine living together, just as roommates, cohabitating. And I think that part of the reason that we've been able to be really good friends and also roommates for so long is that we put all of our roommate stuff first. You know, like we decided what was important for the room, what was important for us as roommates before we built a friendship. You know, it's easy to come in and be like, oh my gosh, let's be best friends. You know, I already said this, but you know, let's braid each other's hair and sing Kumbaya and make friendship bracelets. Like you come in all excited and you want to be, you know, like attached to the hip or whatever. But in reality, you might be living with this person for a year, most likely for a year, you know, and it's important to set the rules and stipulations and things that you need for a living situation before you guys start having couple names like Brangelina or whatever. You know, like you need to be roommates first and then friends second.
I definitely think it's important to take the roommate contract seriously because it will get you thinking about those things that you may not have thought about before. Like study hours. I hadn't even thought about studying when I first came to Alaska. It's hard to get, I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of orientation and coming to college, and so you don't really know when you're going to study or think about studying.
Or even, like, we were talking earlier about, like, trash. When you take out the trash. You know, like, okay, when it's full, we'll just take it out. Okay, well, what does full mean? Because to me, full is like, if I put another thing on there, stuff will fall out. You know, like, that's full. But you might think that, like, if it's coming close to the top of the basket,
yes,
that's full.
That's full to me.
Whatever.
Me too. When it's reaching the top.
No, mine is when it literally is at capacity. Capacity is full. Look up the word full. Anyway. But, you know, like, deciding these things might sound silly. Like, you might be like, oh, we'll take it out when it's full and we're cool. Do you both know what the same full is? Like, these things sound little and they sound dumb, but in a real life living situation, they are important.
Yeah, or even like what time lights out is, and if lights out means like the other roommate can have their TV still on. And
or like a desk light, but the overhead light is off. Is there a compromise that can be made if you have to stay up late and study? Can you have your desk light on? Can you have, I don't know. I mean, you shouldn't have to sit under your covers with a flashlight if you need to study, but another person shouldn't have to sleep with this giant overhead light on either. Things to think about. So, you guys are probably out at Bed Bath & Beyond, buying up all your crazy
Angry
color
Bird
stuff,
posters.
your favorite color, everything, your shower caddy, and your matching whatever curtains, and your matching bedspread, and pillows, and shower shoes, and desk lamps, and
pencils. All the other pencils.
I mean, we could go on and on.
Rain
You're
boots.
probably buying a lot of stuff. And you might be like, oh my gosh, my roommate and I have to have like matching color schemes in our dorm room, and it has to look like, you know, a board off Pinterest, and it has to be perfect and awesome. And we're here to tell you that
it doesn't. It does not have to match. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to look like a board on Pinterest.
I mean, this is going to be your home. It's not supposed to be a page out of a catalog, or it's not supposed to whatever. Like, buy things that make you comfortable and happy. And if your roommate's like, oh, I'm going to do my whole room in green frogs and sunflowers, and you're like, I'm not a fan of frogs or sunflowers, you don't have to buy into it just because you're going to be living together. Like, Anjanae and I have completely different things going on, but we both happen to have like a little bit of pink in both, or we did originally, or a little bit of green in both, and it kind of tied together, but it wasn't matchy-matchy, and that's fine. Like, you each have your own side and your own stuff, and it's okay if it looks like two different rooms. Like, you don't have to go crazy and be twinsies with your roomie.
Yeah. That's how I like to treat it. I like to treat my side of the room like my room, and Jessica's side of the room like her room. So I think that's important too, in having your own space and allowing yourself to be comfortable and not give in to whatever your roommate wants just because it's what they want.
Yeah, just because it's a joint space doesn't mean it's not your space. That was beautiful.
What do you do if you're having roommate trouble?
Well, as you probably can tell, Anjanae and I have had our fair share of troubles with each other. You know, okay, we've personally never had troubles. I think we had a fight once. But anyway, a lot of roommates aren't as lucky as us. You know, like a lot of roommates do come across conflicts or arguments or whatever, fights. I don't know what.
It's definitely okay to go to an RA if you have any questions or have any troubles that you want to discuss. They are fully equipped to deal with all of your problems.
Right. And going to an RA isn't like tattling on your roommate. It's just acknowledging that you have a problem. Like adults, we acknowledge we have a problem and that we need to find a way to resolve it. And your RA is trained to handle these kinds of things. And so it's better to go to them and find some healthy way to resolve your conflict than just secretly hate each other for a year.
Yeah.
That
What
could
are the
end.
steps? Like if you
Like
go
if
to
you
an
have
RA,
a roommate problem?
yeah, like if you go to an RA and you just talk to them, that doesn't mean like
Yeah. If
They're gonna
you
file
come
a
to your RA
complaint.
and like your complaint is, oh my goodness, my roommate's so messy and it's really upsetting me, what can I do? First, your RA is probably going to tell you and give you some like tips on how to speak to your roommate and gently tell your roommate that, hey, you know, I'd really love it if we could both clean our room this Sunday morning and make it look nice. Something like that. Some sort of tip to help you neutralize the ground, maybe get your point across. And then if that doesn't work, if you still have problems, maybe your roommate has brought a guest over more times than your roommate contract stated. Well, then in that case, we'll do a mediation. And so we'll invite you and your roommate to both come to an RA's room or a location of some sort. And we pull out your roommate contract and review that with you so we see if there's been a breach in your contract or some sort of violation of your contract. And then we talk it out. So your RA acts as a mediator and will be listening to both sides and coming to some sort of resolution. Now, if that doesn't work out, then we'll either take it to the senior resident assistant or to the resident director. And then if things are still not being resolved, occasionally we do move roommates out.
But that's not to say that
it won't go that far.
Right.
Yeah,
Like your
usually
roommate
it's-
borrowed a pair of earrings from you. Oh, you have to get a new roommate.
Yeah.
It's not that serious.
Just communication is key. I know that's kind of cliche, but it really is going to be very important in having a successful roommate relationship.
Yeah. You really can't understand what it's like to live with someone until you're living with someone. Like, there are going to be all kinds of things that come up that you probably wouldn't have originally thought of. And we're trying to name a bunch of them in this video. But it doesn't mean anything bad if you need to modify your roommate contract or if you need to go to an RA, because that's why they get paid, is to help you out.
Definitely take those 2 weeks to really think about those things that you want to include in your roommate contract. It's kind of easy to get caught up on the first day and just put, oh, we'll respect each other's things, but like respect
What does
doesn't-
that mean?
Yeah, what does respect mean to Jessica and to me? It may mean something very, very different. So definitely take more time than just the first couple of days that you're living together to fill out the roommate contract and think about those things. Especially when it comes to studying. Classes start on August 27th, right?
Yep.
It's
Wednesday, and then you don't really know what your study habits will be until you get into the swing of things after that first week. So
But here's a little tip. If you're not studying, your study habits are wrong. I learned that one the hard way. That when I first came to college, I didn't think I had to study. And that was wrong. That was false information that I gave myself.
Yeah, so this roommate contract, what will happen is I'll be passing those out to you, and you'll have 2 weeks to sort of think about it, really consider these rules or,
Guidelines.
yeah, your contracts.
Contractual obligations.
Yeah, your obligation to your roommate. That's great. And then from there, after it's filled out, you'll schedule an appointment to meet with an RA, and we'll review it and make sure that both of y'all agree to those terms and conditions and consequences for violations. and so on and so forth. And then after that, I'll keep them, and I believe you'll also receive a copy that you can post in your room and refer to as you so choose. And that's your roommate contract.
You want it to be you and your roommate and
Nobody else.
Yeah.
Because nobody else is living there.
Yeah, that's really great too, because your roommate contract does not have to look like your neighbor's at all. If it does, then it's probably not going to work that great for you, because it really is a
Person
personal.
by person.
Yeah, totally.
Totes.
Totes my goats.
in August.
Bye. See you soon.